Hey everybody, welcome in to G Knows Best Movie Reviews. I just got done seeing Alien Romulus. This is going to be a spoiler review. If you haven't seen the movie or don't want to know anything about what happens in the movie, please bookmark this video, come back after you've seen the movie. All right, let's get into it. So I wanted to first make a note of the special effects. The special effects in this movie were top-notch. I couldn't tell what was CGI. I mean, there was maybe one little tiny, oh, that kind of looks CGI for like split second of the entire movie. The practical effects were great. Obviously, there were stuff that they didn't do with practical effects, but it didn't look CGI. Very well done. The atmosphere in this movie is intense. It's suffocating. It's encompassing. It's very well done. The movie is directed by Fede Alvarez, and he did a fantastic job directing this movie. We're going to go ahead and take a look at who the stars of this movie. So it's Kaylee Spaney, Isabel Merced, and David Johnson. So we'll go ahead and look up what the Rotten Tomatoes reviews are at the end of this video. That's how I'm going to be doing these moving forward. I wanted to tell you guys that the acting was really well done. I wanted to let you guys know that it wasn't as scary as I thought, which is okay. There were some scenes where I was shocked, and they weren't a lot of jump scare stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of jump scares. It feels predictable. There was one or two. I mean, it's a horror movie. You expect that. The opening of the movie didn't work for me. It just didn't. It was setting up things as most movies do. I felt like we didn't need the first 2 minutes of the movie before the title card. I felt like was just for no reason other than just being like, this is an alien movie, at which point the title card will do that for us. I thought that it wasn't as gory as I was expecting, but there was definitely some gore, for sure. Once they got to the main setting of the movie, it's when it really picked up. There's not a whole lot of story here, but that doesn't make it not a good movie. I already touched on the atmosphere, the acting, the directing. The sound design was great. It was an experiential event, as John Campea will say. The theater was pretty full for the most part. I mean, it was about half full for second week on a Wednesday. Or maybe it's still the opening week technically. But either way, multiple people were there seeing it for a second time. It was a fun time at the movies. I will definitely recommend that you guys go see that movie. Since this video is entitled Spoilers, I've given you guys enough time to avoid them if you'd like. So I'm going to get into some spoiler stuff that I want to touch on. I thought that the scene from the trailer where you see the girl highlighting the x-ray through her chest, I thought that scene played out very well. It was terrifying. The thing burst through her chest, and it was a small alien, and then it led into a big alien. Now, I was only expecting an alien in this movie. I'm not the biggest fan of the franchise, and so I don't know if this is consistent or inconsistent, but they set it up very well, and there was a lot of aliens. Now, they were pretty disposable, and it set up this awesome scene in zero gravity with their acid blood, and they had to avoid it. Somebody made a comment that it's basically like floor is lava. And that was a really well done scene. There was something that just straight up didn't work for me, and that's when the gravity came back on, and the main character's following through this elevator shaft, and one of the alien creatures catches her. It didn't work for me. Why? Just let her fall to her death. Maybe I missed something. Obviously, the face huggers want to impregnate their hosts to create more aliens. Maybe that's why, but they didn't really necessarily kind of go into that. The compound that they were using to heal rats, and then what was taken by the pregnant girl who had been injured, it was set up that was going to lead to something terrifying, and it did. The monster baby that she gave birth to turned into an alien-human hybrid. That was terrifying. I didn't expect that. Very creepy. Whoever the actor was that did that was fantastic. The encompassing space setting and sound design, again, we've talked about. There was this kind of ticking clock situation that helped speed the movie up. The movie was only, under 2 hours, and that is a perfect time for a movie. It didn't overstay its welcome. Even though I thought that it started off slow, it definitely picked up. Once they get onto the space station, once they get into the face hugger situation, once they get into the aliens, it started to be very entertaining. Again, there's not really much of a story. They're trying to get to this utopia planet and trying to get off their planet, and they're being constricted by the government forces there. And all of that was set up to kind of really not have a payoff. She's just on her way to her destination at the end of the movie. All in all, I would say that it was an enjoyable time at the theater. I would recommend you go see it if you can deal with some gore and you can deal with some scary stuff, for sure. It's not the best movie. It's not, but it's very well directed, well acted. And do I really go to horror movies for great movies? I mean, I'd like every movie I see to be great, but I got what I wanted out of this movie. There were definitely some surprises, and there were definitely some situations where I was like, oh, I wasn't as afraid as I thought I was going to be. I would say all that I think you'll have a good time with this movie. I'm really glad I decided to see it. There's nothing really in this movie that kind of comes home with you. For me, the biggest problem with horror movies is that it doesn't stay at the theater. I usually take that stuff home with me, the paranormal stuff, aliens and Alien, and that. I walked into my house completely pitch black, nothing intimidating, no heart racing, nothing like that. Obviously I know it's a movie and it's fake, but some supernatural stuff can kind of follow you around. And this, you leave it at the theater. It kind of ended not abruptly, like the climax of the movie happened, and it's ending, but it still kind of felt a little bit like, are they gonna give us another scene? Are they not? So that was a little confusing. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a look at see what the Rotten Tomatoes have to say. Okay, so Alien Romulus, directed by Fede Alvarez, has an 81% Rotten Tomatoes critic meter, 308 reviews, and 86 popcorn meter, which is the audience review. That doesn't make it an 8 out of 10 quality, but 8 out of 10 people enjoyed this movie. And I enjoyed it too. Am I going to be like some of the other people that I talk to going into theater that are seeing it multiple times? No, I don't really plan on seeing this movie probably ever again. It does make me want to go back and watch Alien 1 and Alien 2 and kind of see how they relate to each other, some of the nuances that I might have missed. However, on its own, as somebody who doesn't really understand the lore, I know what a xenomorph is. I know they got the face coming out and then the face huggers, things like that. It's really well done. I wanted to say that Mr. Johnson, who played like a synthetic android robot, he did fantastic acting, non-human. I did think that every time they went into his neck, she just had to reboot him like every 5 seconds. It felt like, and that was kind of. It's like if you've advanced to the point where you have synthetic humanoid robots, you think that they wouldn't need like a turnkey reboot every 5 seconds when they're bleeding type of situation. So that was a little interesting. I liked what they did with the gun, how it's not like aim assist. That was very fun. So I'm glad I kept this video going because there was something that I really wanted to address. And I found myself looking at the bottom of the screen for subtitles. Most of these characters are British or some type of from the UK. And I hope there was nothing important in the dialogue because a lot of it just went right over my head. I just didn't understand what they were saying. Maybe because I'm used to having subtitles as a crutch to fall back on when I watch things at my house. But at the end of the day, make sure the audience can hear what your cast is saying. I have no problem with you casting Hispanic people, European people, whatever. But make an effort for us as the audience to understand what they're saying. Otherwise, why have them speak? Like, why write the dialogue? Don't you want the audience to hear it? Multiple times throughout the movie, I found myself wondering, what was that? What did they say? And that's not what I really want in a movie. I was wondering, do they offer subtitles in this theater somewhere else? So that was something that I'm really glad I made a point to mention because I definitely wish that I had gotten the dialogue clear from there. This felt like a part one of some greater story. It didn't like to be continued type of thing, but it definitely feels like they set up stuff they didn't pay off. And if they make another movie, I'm sure that'll be paid off in the second movie. But I'm not the biggest fan of doing that, to be honest. So we'll see what ends up happening. All in all, I would say this movie's about a 5 or 6 out of 10, which, oh, that's not really good, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it is. Anything over a 5 is good. I enjoyed. It means it's a thumbs up. I would recommend you go see it. But it's not like the greatest movie. I enjoy atmosphere. I enjoyed well-directed scenes, and I enjoy well-acted moments. So I'm glad I saw it. But at the end of the day, there was definitely stuff that either didn't need to happen or could have used a payoff for the audience. And I'm not going to be able to. I think the only thing that would make me want to see this movie again is seeing it on home video with subtitles. So we will see if I missed anything important. I doubt it. But either way, what's the point of having them talk like that? So whatever you guys thought, comment below. Let me know. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. And I will see you guys most likely tomorrow night for my next movie review. You guys have a great and lovely evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.